In this last video, I kind of wanted to show you how to finish this project here. We had our pumpkin that we worked with in the prior video. I did want you to kind of change the shape so it looks a little more like a pumpkin instead of a basketball. So I'll show you how to do that. We also need to kind of work with our background to make it a little more interesting. So I'm going to hide my background for now because I'll show you how to work with that and add a photo into that. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and just hide my background. So you probably just have your regular background in there. Again, just hide the background layer, and that's simply by clicking on the eye next to it. And then what I needed you to do to make this a solid pumpkin, once you have your face carved and you like the way that the colors and the shadow is in the face, go up to Layer and Merge Visible. And I already merged mine, so it's not an option for me right now, but I just wanted to show you where Layer Merge Visible is. And once you click Merge Visible with your background hidden, make sure that the background is hidden, because if it's not, it's going to merge the background in there as well. And we just want the pumpkin merged. So now that I merged my pumpkin, it's one thing. So it's not a bunch of layers anymore. I'm going to get back on my pumpkin layer here. When I hit Control T, or if I were to just grab the arrow key, you would see that now this is no longer a bunch of circles that are kind of not related. It's actually a bunch of circles that have now become a pumpkin. And then an easy way to kind of add some shape once you've merged that is to come up here to Edit and go to Transform and Warp. And warp is the way that I kind of got the different bendy properties of my pumpkin here. So it makes it look more like a pumpkin than a basketball. So you can kind of bend your pumpkin however you like, kind of work with that and get it set up into a shape that you like so it looks a little bit more like a real pumpkin. And then once you have it to where you like it, go ahead and hit Enter. And then with the arrow tool here, you can kind of like, with the move tool with the hand, you can kind of move it around your canvas and that. So we're going to go ahead and add in, I'm going to go ahead and Control T this one too. Remember, Control T is a really helpful tool if you want to rotate your pumpkin. If you want to flip it, you can do that. If you want to just kind of move it around your canvas, you can do that. All right, so I've got my pumpkin. It's kind of bent. I hit Enter. And then what I did was I added a forest to mine. So I wanted to kind of show you how you can work with a photo and add it to your canvas. So I'm going to just hide this one and add a different layer in just to kind of start from a blank slate here. So if I came in to this layer, I've got it behind the face now, so I'm going to add a photo to it like I did here. I'm going to go ahead and actually just delete this one so that I'm kind of starting where you're at here. All right, so I've got this transparent layer here. I want to add a photo on my background here, so you can minimize that window. And I saved this photo to my background. It's just a photo of a forest. I got it online and it was free to use and make changes to. So be sure when you're searching images online that you're watching for that free to use and modify piece to them. But with this, I can kind of resize it and it makes this forest in my background. And then I can hit Enter. And then to make it a little more interesting, and again, let me just kind of show you what I did with that too. I just dragged the forest onto my canvas. All right, so you can just grab that file and just drag it onto your layer. All right, and then another kind of fun thing you can do is apply a filter to it. So I have my forest layer selected. If you go to Filter and Filter Gallery, kind of a quick way to see how filters work. So there are all types of filters in here. And I just chose one, this water paper, I think, on mine. And then you can also use these little sliders over here to kind of make changes. Kind of be careful, this can kind of make your program run slow if you're making too many changes in that. So just have a little patience with it. But yeah, kind of fun way to add some interest there. So when I click OK, that filter is applied and kind of have a more interesting background for my pumpkin. The last thing I wanted you to do in this project is to name your pumpkin. So think of a name. I'm going to go ahead and just name mine Frank, I guess. And so I'm coming into the T tool. And then with any tool, you always have options up here on the options bar. So that's where my font choices are. If I came in here to choose a font size, be very mindful of what your font size is. Depending on the scale of your project, it might not match, but this one's fine. And it brings in lorem ipsum, which is just some filler text, and we've kind of talked about that in web design. So I can just come in here and type over this filler text. So again, I'm going to just name this one Frank. And again, delete any of the filler text that's there. And then you can change the color here if you'd like. Make sure that you have enough contrast where you can see it on your background. And then also you can change the shape of it if you wanted to. So if I came in here, you can kind of make some changes to the sharpness of it. And you can play around with it because you can always edit it later as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. Whoops, let me actually select that. That's what my problem was. I had to have it selected. Okay. So there's that, and then when I click OK, now I can come in here. I can kind of rotate this a little bit from the T tool, but if I wanted to make some other changes to it, there are other ways you can kind of work with the shape of text, but we'll do that in a different project. Whoops. But know that if you ever want to come in and edit this again, you can double click on, or click on the layer and go to the T tool, whatever tool you used to make that portion of your project, and then you can always come in here and make changes to it that way as well. All right. Okay, I think that's it for this project. Hopefully that walked you through the window in Photoshop a little bit. And we will continue on with other projects.